suggested some sort of a brand extension.
Ruthless aggression. Allow me to introduce you to the new general manager of Raw, Eric Bischoff.
Who in the green hell are you?
I lie, I cheat, I steal. And at WrestleMania, I just hear myself say.
Hello and welcome back to Dits versus Josh. It has been a minute since we did any of this stuff. I believe the last time that you heard me and Josh together on this very show was like back in August last year. A long time has passed. But I'm going to start things off straight away. I'm not even going to get into like the nitty gritty of anything. I just need to get this bragging out there and remind everybody I'm 3-0 up in this whole thing. We're not pressing reset. We ain't pressing reset on this shit. I'm 3-0 up. What say you, Josh? Are you still gutted about it all these months later?
Well, listen, there's a lot going on in the world right now. We've come back at a time where the world's in shambles. But, of course, I have to just... I have to mention the fact that the world might be in shambles, but you certainly have not forgotten the fact that I've not got a win in this. You couldn't throw a dog a bone in this case. We're literally
I remember
recording
all the
this.
things.
We have the same microphone, guys, and I just noticed this as we were starting this little recording today. This has a blue microphone and I have a red one. We have the same fucking exact microphone, and that wasn't by design. Well, I don't think it was by design. I mean, I just got a red one because I like the color red.
And I got blue because I like blue. But it's meant to be.
It must be. It must be a sign that this show should have come back at some stage. We knew we were going to get it back eventually. It
took a long time.
It just took ages. And now, you know, everyone's kind of in like a state of we don't really know what's going on in the world. So it's like it's now or never.
Yeah, because we might be dead in like 2 days.
We really don't
So
know what's going on.
It gives people, well, we're recording this today, so obviously it comes out tomorrow. So people get 1 day to digest this before the world ends. So enjoy.
Yeah.
Make this the last thing that you listen to.
Oh, God. Yikes. And now it's on my own network, which I didn't think I was ever going to do.
I mean, yeah, before we get into anything, let's just talk about that for a second. Like, you got lowly fucking Dits over here with, you know, just a basic wrestling podcast, really. And then you have
Don't sell yourself short.
A struggling YouTuber. And then you have Josh fucking with his own network riding high. It's just, I feel like we're not on an equal footing anymore. I feel like a peasant. I feel like I should be kneeling down at your feet. I'm not going to because I'm 3-0 up, but I feel that's what really needs to happen. But well done.
Are you done
ballsy
complimenting me? Because I'm just gonna keep complimenting me. Just I'm here for it. No, it is. I understand. It's risky because this could all just fall flat on my face. But I'm like, if I'm going down swinging. You know.
I don't think it'll struggle. Like you've got a lot of fans. You've got a lot of people that love you. I don't know why, but you do.
It's the underdog mentality. This is up here now, but they don't call it a comeback for nothing, you know? Fighting from underneath.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm very honoured that you... In fact, you actually divulged this to me before... as far as what you said to me before anybody else, because obviously I needed to know that I was going to be a part of this show.
You and Queen were the only people that knew, because Queen got it out of me. Because it's Queen. And you know who Queen is. But you and Queen were the only people that knew, but even like, I don't even think like you and Queen knew the extent. You kind of knew like the basis of it, but it wasn't the extent. And I still have more tricks up my sleeve. Trust me, I've got more things to throw at people, but I ain't getting that. We're just in launch week. This is just the first episode. Well, the second thing back on the network. So, that's later. And there was so much planned for WrestleMania week stuff, but now it's like, is that even happening? Probably not. Like, it's probably not going to happen. So, I'm just gonna kind of just... I can still do podcasting from home, whether we're going to a lockdown or not. I don't know if anyone knows this about Australia, but they're on the verge of announcing in the next couple of days whether we have to go into self-quarantine nationwide.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they're trying to avoid what happened in Italy and stuff like that. They're just trying to keep it, which is, I mean, for the long term, if whatever, 2 weeks no people, not the worst.
And yet here we have our Prime Minister say, just wash your hands, guys. That's all you need to do. Just wash your hands. We'll keep everything open. Don't worry about it.
It's so
just wash your hands.
crazy time to be alive, to be completely honest, before we even get into anything. It is a really weird time to be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everyone's gone into a panic. There's people losing their lives, and there's people, all of these cases, and it's everywhere in the world. Usually when it's like something like this, you can be like, oh, that's bad, but it's not happening here. It's like, no, it's happening everywhere. But it's just on different levels, I guess. I know the UK have got a travel ban from going into the States, haven't they?
As of today, I think it was. So even, let's be honest, it's probably not going to happen. But if WrestleMania did go ahead, nobody would be able to fucking go.
Yeah, and anyone coming into Australia has to self-quarantine for 14 days upon arrival if they're coming in internationally. Even if they're an Aussie coming in from wherever, they have to self-quarantine. And it's police enforced. Like, if you are caught and you've come in from the country, it's committing a crime and you will be fined. Some people will be up to jail time for people that test positive for coronavirus and stuff like that. So they're enforcing it over here. I mean, it's drastic and it's pretty intense, but I think it's necessary. I don't really know. No one really knows what's going on. Really, some people are like, it's a cold, you'll be fine, and some people are like, you are going to die, and other people are like, just wash your hands. Like, I don't know. I'm just over here doing my normal thing. Having to work in retail is real fucking fun at the moment.
Oh, I can imagine. I've seen some videos that are
hell.
Pretty outrageous.
Brawls?
Or
Brawls,
yeah,
and fighting and abuse, and it's just crazy. They say about in Australia at least, 500 people or more, you can't have a social gathering or anything. But supermarkets are fine. I would have seen a lot more people in Woolworths at one stage yesterday than 500. So I guess I'll just die. I guess that's just the fuck me, right?
I mean, it's like Black Friday, but instead of people buying TVs and shit, they're just buying toilet paper.
It's toilet paper and noodles and it's just, and complaints and getting yelled at, and it's a lot. But I mean, what can you really do about it? At least I got to sit down and watch Backlash. Yay.
Well, you sound that you enjoyed the show.
Yeah. The high points were really good.
Yeah. But we'll we'll get into the lowest of lows, and they are the lowest of lows.
For anyone that hasn't listened to the first 3.5 episodes, I'll say 3.5 because there was a pre-debut episode. They're available now, so I'd suggest pausing this and going in and listening to those. They're all available on the network. I believe I have them on my YouTube. If you're listening to this exclusively on YouTube for whatever reason, I believe I have them on there as well. But it's all available on the network, so go back and listen to those, because we both have opinions going into this show about Raw and Smackdown. I have a very big opinion on Bradshaw. It's just so much Bradshaw, and I didn't realize, because you forget so much crap. It's been a long time since I've watched all of these shows in succession of one another. I can't remember, or I know I moved at some stage from one town to another, and I didn't have the access to wrestling for about 3 months. So I could have honestly missed these episodes and just not realized that the megastar of Bradshaw on Raw. Man. Today is a Backlash 2002 review. We were going to do watch-alongs, but it's not really. It's just our time zones are different. It's too long, and it's just too hard for us to do. Maybe somewhere down the road we might do a watch-along here or there. Because I've never really dabbled.
I mean, I think we could probably. I mean, this is a long time away, because this is obviously a week-on-week basis that we're going to be doing this now. So there's a long time until we get to WrestleMania 19. However, we could say now when we get to WrestleMania 19, that will be WrestleMania season next year.
Exactly. We're going to be doing WrestleMania. It'll be up to WrestleMania season. So, well, assuming WrestleMania takes place next year as well. Yeah, we could probably work something out maybe for the bigger shows to set aside some time and do a watch along podcast. If that's something you guys would be interested in anyway, because that's going to be a long damn show.
Live stream.
Hey.
Whoa.
Any ideas though? Shoot them our way and we'll consider anything. But yes, it is going to be a nice review show of Backlash. It's Raw heavy. I will admit that there's more Raw than SmackDown on this show.
I mean, you've got to lap this up whilst you can, because these rare moments are when we can actually be friends with each other and talk about the show. But then after that, all the gloves are off.
I'm just going to
Oh no, keep the gloves on, because you don't want to get any dodgy viruses that might be kicking around.
Yeah, especially who washes their hands anyway? I've got a bottle of hand sanitizer over there, and I'm scared I'm going to get robbed if I put that out online. Maybe I'll edit that line out of this podcast. If you hear it, do not come to my home and steal my one bottle of hand sanitizer that I got. Sadly enough, I got for Christmas. My mum was prepared. She was like, "I know there's a virus coming. Here's a bottle of hand sanitizer." But yeah, it is. I have clean hands, but I'll wear gloves. I've lost my train of thought in that sentence. If you didn't realize, whatever. Backlash, hey. It's certainly a thing that happened. Well, it did happen. We just watched it now.
In hindsight, I remember having this on DVD, obviously many moons ago.
Saying that.
Yeah, and in my head, I was just like, this was a really good show. And that just shows how much I've changed since I was, how old would I have been then? 11 years old to 28 years old. Because there's a lot on this show. I was just like, oh, fuck. But my memories of the show were positive.
I was 6 years old when this show came out. Wow. Baby Josh.
Yeah, that's wow. That makes me feel a little bit old. Not Magsy old, but old.
Yeah, well, no one's Magsy old. He's keep him away from the coronavirus, if you know what I mean. Just keep him safe. Cherish Mags. But yeah, it not necessarily was a bad show, which we'll get into in a minute. Well, we should probably start, shouldn't we? I mean, SmackDown was first. I couldn't. You took notes. I did not, because fuck that. But I remember, don't worry, I remember all the shit I need to remember. But where was this show taking place?
Don't know. I take notes, but not in depth. Come on.
Noted. I remember the intro, the pyro, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were on commentary the whole night. I didn't realize they did that. I thought they had the two different announce teams, but obviously that didn't come into effect until later. This is the first pay-per-view ever with a brand extension, so I guess what I can tell you
that I can remember from memory, not without notes, is that the original theme to Backlash 2002 was Creed. Don't remember the song, but I know it was Creed. It's definitely not Creed on the network.
No, I noticed that too. I'm like, what's this generic stuff?
I was like, this is some stock music shite I'm listening to right now.
Streaming,
which
isn't it great?
I believe will be a theme throughout this entire thing.
Oh yeah.
Each passing pay-per-view.
Yeah, we're going to hear some stock themes. Not for all of them. I know some of them have their original music. I guess it's just streaming issues and copyright issues. They didn't know they were going to have a streaming service 18 years later. 18 years? Holy fuck. It's been that long.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, is that classified as retro?
I guess
classic.
I guess so. When you think of there's people watching wrestling now that weren't alive when this came out.
Oh,
yikes!
That's a depressing thought right there.
I don't seem so much of a baby now. Ugh, gross. Can I be 18? I'll just shave my beard and I'll look 18, so I'm good.
Yeah, you do. You got a bit of a baby face going on there.
I do. It's good now. Well, it's kind of annoying because people are like, I don't think you should be buying alcohol, young teenager. And I'm like, get absolutely fucking wrecked. I can buy alcohol if I want to. I just can't afford it because of this noodles that I have to buy at the moment. But yes, I don't know where Backlash took place. Anyone want to hit us up on Twitter or leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube? Where did Backlash 2 plays into? We're not going to look it up. Can't be bothered. I don't want to do that. Who's organized in this thing? But I do know what started it, and I'll let you take the lead because it is SmackDown.
Yeah, this is I mean, you got to lap this SmackDown stuff up because this is the last bit of SmackDown you'll get for a little while. We open the show with the Cruiserweight title between Tajiri, the challenger, and Billy Kidman, the champion. And I always find that like with pay-per-views around this time, I think they usually always did start with the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
It sets a nice little tone. And it did set a nice little tone.
Hey, you're forgetting to mention one very important aspect of this match. Someone did accompany Tajiri to the ring.
Oh, of course, Tori Wilson.
Yes.
In full Komodo gear, looking very, very sad.
Yeah.
That she has to wear
that was
it, and
her,
she's
Billy Kidman and her were married at the time, weren't they?
Really?
Yeah. Did you not know they were married?
No, I know they had like
know.
a thing in WCW, but
they were married. I don't know if they had a divorce at that stage. I believe they were still together at that stage. You can fact check me if you want, but they were married. Yeah, 100%.
Huh? Mind
so I don't
blown.
know. Weird circumstance. Probably watching your husband getting beat up by your on-screen boyfriend. Well, not boyfriend. Well, I guess. What was the relationship? You're the SmackDown guy here. What was the relationship with Tori?
I think they were together, and then Tori messed up, and then obviously Tajiri went a bit possessive.
Heel Tajiri, by the way. Sign on the dotted line. What a fun little time.
He's great. And I've actually put this in my notes. I've put Tajiri. I mean, it literally is 3 words. Tajiri is awesome, but you don't need to say any more than that. Like, I forget, like, how I've said it before on the previous episode of Dits versus Josh. Like, Tajiri's fucking awesome. Like, he really is. And saying that, Billy Kidman as well was another guy. I liken him to Tony Nese. I thought that when I was watching it, I was like, you know what? That's kind of I'm getting Tony Nese vibes here. I think Tony Nese can do a little bit more, but yeah, I kind of got those vibes. Not just because they've both got long hair, but
I mean, but I guess this is very much like if you look at today's work rate and then look at that work rate, there's a difference, obviously, because it's just a different style in general.
Yeah.
But there's elements of what you see now. It's like the seeds being planted. And this is the most, a couple of other matches as well on this card, but this is the most like what we get on a standard level today. This is like a standard level match in today's landscape. But back then it was like, whoa. Wrestling's changed a lot.
I mean, as we go through this this review of Backlash, that'll become very evident. But I actually enjoyed this match. I put in my notes. It was a decent opener, but I think I think that's harsh. Actually, I thought it was actually pretty good.
Really good. Yeah, the crowd were really into it. I like the buzzsaw kick is just great because Tajiri, he puts them in. He lays them in. They look
and Kidman
good.
kicked out of that buzzsaw kick as well.
Oh yeah, the finish was a fucking mist, wasn't it? Red mist.
Yeah, he missed. He missed. Billy Kidman missed the shooting star press. Then Tajiri hit the buzzsaw kick, kicked out, and I was like, "What? Who kicks out of the fucking buzzsaw kick?" And then, of course, yes, it was the red mist. And we've been saying. I remember we were always saying that on Dits versus Josh, like. Have you got the mist? No, we didn't get the mist this week. Did you get the mist? No,
I did.
Now we got the mist.
Mist? Come on.
And you got raw mist. You didn't get green mist. You got red raw mist.
I guess it's a heel thing. I guess.
Yeah, but I don't like the color red when it's associated with.
When we were recording, like last time, this was pre-Asuka getting mist, wasn't it?
Yes.
So we're not accustomed to seeing the mist on television like we are now because of Asuka. So it's kind of cool. I don't know. Just
the mist was a lot different though. Like there seems to be like more of it, and like when he blew it into Kidman's face when he set him up for that powerbomb, like it just seemed to be like streamlined and a bit more like together. Whereas when Asuka does it, it kind of flies everywhere. But Tajiri's was just like.
Is that like by design though? Do they want more of the mist all over someone's face so it's kind of like you can't miss it? Can't miss it. You know what I mean? Like, so you can see it. It comes across on camera, and it's like, oh, she's got mist on her face. Yeah,
because I think whenever Asuka's done it, like when they obviously pull away, and you can kind of see like the results of it. It's spread all over the face, all over the body, and stuff like that. But when Tajiri does it, it's more direct. So I think when I saw Kidman's face, it was like kind of like half of his face,
and it's in his eyes, per se.
Yeah. I want to know what they actually used for that mist.
Yeah, who knows? Surely, well, obviously it's something that wouldn't hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
Well, unless WWE's like, fuck it, give him fucking poison or something. Some kind of weird poisonous mist, and it will actually burn you so you can't kick out of a roll-up, essentially. Why does that make you not be able to kick out of a pin? Because you can't see?
It's funny you say that. I was, I was literally watching it, and I was just like, yeah, but you can still use your arms. Basic roll-up right now, and you're just flailing. Because he sits right, as soon as the pin hits, he sat right up, holding his face. Just like you were capable of sitting up then, but you just weren't then. Like,
I always pop for it. Why? I always am like, fuck yeah, the mist. Even when Asuka does it now, I'm like, yes, mist. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I do like the mist. There was a few times when I thought, we're going to get the mist. Oh, we didn't get the mist. Oh, we're going to get the mist. Oh, we didn't get it. And then that power
moment when you watch Backlash, you're like, fuck yeah, we got the red mist. Tori seemed pretty happy. I'm excited to hear. This is a fun part of this show, is that I'm excited to hear through your way of telling it only what is going on with Tori and Tajiri. That is going to be like my favorite thing, I think. I'm saying it now. I think that's going to be my favorite thing to hear from every week, because I'm just going to be like, I'm not rebutting any of this. This is just going to be like, what is going on with Tori and Tajiri? I'm just excited for it.
I would agree, had I not listened back to our first couple of episodes and realized just how creepy Vince was. I've had creepy Vince. I had that reminder when I was listening to it, and I think that will top Tori and Tajiri with relative ease.
Okay, cool. Well, that match was fun. I liked that match. It was a good opener, good way to start the show, especially for what come up next.
And we have a new Cruiserweight champion as well.
Oh yeah, new Cruiserweight champ. Is that like, I don't know. Cruiserweight Championship wasn't really around for very long at that point, was it? Was Billy Kidman the first?
It wasn't part of the invasion angle, I don't
No, so it was literally a thing from the draft, wasn't it? Because they had like the women on Raw, the women's title. Oh, the women's title was everywhere though, wasn't it, at one stage? At this point, I think the women's title could be defended on any show.
So I think it was only on Raw, the women's title. And then if you were on SmackDown, you were just had to accept.
You're just a lady that happened to be on SmackDown.
Or you were like snogging Vince. That's your title.
Or Tajiri.
Congratulations. Or Tajiri, yeah.
Because really, Tori, there wasn't that many women on SmackDown anyway, was there? There was Tori.
I think I had like Tori, Dawn. Well, obviously this was a little bit later, but like Dawn Marie, Sable, and
yeah, that was like, you get Tori and Dawn Marie. No,
Al Wilson, baby.
Oh my god, that is like a podcasting dream, is just to follow that. What a story. Oh my god. Jealous. Although, Katie Vick.
Oh yeah.
That's all coming up, guys. We're not stopping. We're just on a trajectory here of just going up. I get to review someone fondling a dead woman. That is, I'm not actually lying. That's genuinely a storyline that's coming up, guys. Spoilers.
Yeah, that's a sentence that happened.
Speaking of shit that happened, Bradshaw is next in a backstage segment. He's standing there getting ready to. Did he get interviewed, or was he just standing there?
No, he bumped into his good old pal Farouk from SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown and Raw aligning here. What traitors? What the hell, Bradshaw?
They missed. Just to add to the terribleness that is Bradshaw, they went to fist bump as Bradshaw's music hit. So he was getting ready to go, and they went to fist bump, and they fucking missed it. Oh, I was just like, you can't even get that right. I think they tried twice as well. It was like 2 air fucking fist bumps.
Oh, Bradshaw's the way. But he met up with Farouk, and they were like, blah, blah, blah. MWO, bullshit. Because Bradshaw's in a feud with the NWO. For some reason. Kevin Nash got suspended for, like, destroying Kane, right? I think that's what happened from memory, is that he destroyed Kane. with like a chair or something, and then they suspended Kevin Nash, but X-Pac has Kane's mask.
It's all very
the NWO in
strange.
WWE is just not it.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's just
I don't think I liked it then, and I don't like it now.
I don't remember liking it when it was not. I don't want to shit on it and say that it was awful, because there were certainly moments that were okay, but it just, from what it was, like NWO and WCW was WCW. Well, it was at one stage essentially just the NWO, because there was like 200 members of the NWO. That's really not that much of an exaggerated number either. There seemed to be that many people in the NWO at one stage, but it was so different. And then you kind of, with the NWO, it's like literally you have to take over. You can't just be a part of the show. It has to be the show. And the NWO is just kind of slotted into feuds with Bradshaw. Of all fucking people. Bradshaw. And not even like JBL, like cool JBL Bradshaw. It was just taken away from Farouk Bradshaw. Just a angry Texan. That's all he was.
It's not appealing.
No, and then he has a match coming up, obviously, from this backstage segment with Scott Hall, who's just coming off of fighting Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. Okay? What a weird time, really. Like, Stone Cold is bigger than that. And that was when Stone Cold was not in a great spot with Vince, I don't think. Well, he kind of said that.
Yeah, this is around the time where I think he would. Well, obviously he said it himself about taking his ball and going home. I think this was around that time.
Would have been just before, yeah. So he was already thinking of walking out the door at this point, and obviously that'll be escalated by what we talk about later on. That happened in Backlash, but with this match, there's so much wrong with this thing. Oh, I don't even remember any spot in the match other than the spots where it clearly should have ended. Like, clearly it should have ended. By the way, so the NWO come out, X-Pac's in a Kane mask, Scott Hall's wrestling, Bradshaw, and then to even the odds, Farouk comes out, who is still a member of SmackDown, by the way. Just making that clear. I understand they're all under one roof, but he is still a member of SmackDown. But he comes out to even the odds, and the match starts, and then it's just downhill from there, really.
Yeah, it seemed to be like the match. All I literally remember are three things. Number one was Bradshaw punching Scott Hall, and Scott Hall, instead of like going, "Oh, I've been hit," and like staying on his feet, he would fucking bump. He would drop straight down to the deck, and I'd be like, "Okay, this is really annoying." And then number two, there should have. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this wasn't a no disqualification, was it?
No. And Farouk clearly hit.
Yeah.
He clearly hit him. Like, he clearly hit Scott Hall. I was like, and the referee was like this. So, for anyone, I'm going to try and describe what I'm doing. Me and Dits can see each other on camera at the moment. He was literally, like, looking directly at Farouk, hit Scott Hall, and then go, "Get in the ring." I went, "Bitch, that's a DQ. Look in the textbook. That's a DQ. Scott Hall should have won right there."
And the worst thing is, that wasn't the only time it happened.
No.
X-Pac attacked Bradshaw. I was like, I've definitely missed something here. Like, one is bad enough, but two, I was like, there's got to be like a WWE do it now. They'll just throw a random fucking no DQ stipulation in there without anybody knowing about it. And I was like, that must have happened. Like, I must have missed it.
Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler did not say anything. Like, they didn't mention the fact that he just blatantly hit him. He blatantly hit him right in front of the referee. And Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, I was like waiting, and they were just silent. And I was like, say something, JR. Anything. Just say something. And they were just like sitting on their fucking hands doing nothing. It was just really odd. Scott Hall went over, yeah? No? Did Bradshaw win? Because I can't remember.
Scott Hall won because he hit Bradshaw in the ghoulies and rolled him up for a 1-2-3.
Oh, very, shit. That would be my rating. Very shit out of 5.
Well, in my notes, I put not a good match.
Especially coming off that first match, which was pretty damn good, and then this
Yeah.
match, not so much.
I mean, it bodes well for me.
Yeah,
You know.
but even still, I mean, fuck me, dude. Like, it's just anything with Bradshaw in it, I think I'm just going to, like, biasly dislike. But even if Bradshaw was the best wrestler in the world, I would be like, oh man, that was not good.
I don't think a positive word will be said about Bradshaw until he comes to my show and becomes JBL.
Yeah, and I'll be like all for it. I'll be all ears, like, tell me about how great JBL is, because he was absolute shit over on the Red brand. He was terrible. Coming up next, though, I don't have notes, but I believe it's my favorite part of what's been my favorite part of Raw for the last 3 weeks. For the last 3 episodes, has been the women's division. That was next, right?
Correct.
And it's
Correct.
got...
We had the women's title, Trish Stratus against Jazz.
By the way, me and Dits were having a bit of a conversation not too much about when we watched this, and I was like, women's title, fun. You said this, and I'm paraphrasing, I could get it right, but in the DM you said, I forgot how great Jazz actually was.
And I have that in my notes. I put, oh no, I don't have it in my notes, but I do remember that Jazz, I was impressed. To be fair, because I don't.
So Jazz and Trish have been going at it. I remember sending you multiple Snapchats of all the spots that these ladies were doing, because some of them were brutal. They were getting hit in the head with championships, and they were getting there was a lot of stuff going on, and they weren't getting a lot of time on Raw. So that just goes to show you don't necessarily need time to get someone invested. I mean, I'm going to be invested because of a certain woman that's involved in this, the greatest living human maybe ever, other than Renee Young, which is Molly Holly. She's just. Oh, what a woman. She comes out in those black trouser things and that white shirt looking like a teacher, and you're like, oh man, oh shit, here she comes. So Trish come out to a huge reaction.
So I gotta stop you there. I've put in my notes Josh's wet dream with Molly.
What a woman. I mean,
I knew we'd talk about it.
And she used to be a superhero. I mean, are you a superhero?
Had she been a superhero at this point, or was that to come?
No, that was when she first come in, Mighty Molly. She come in with Hurricane after she just come in, or was it during the invasion? She was Mighty Molly. She was with Hurricane because Holy's sidekick Hurricane. It's Mighty Molly, and she did the thing and then the thing, and she had long blonde hair. I remember because I remember that 6-pack challenge at Survivor Series 2001 where Trish won her first title, and she was Mighty Molly in that.
Ah, see, I thought that when he was with Rosie,
no,
that they were like a trio.
Molly come in as with the Hollies, obviously. That's how she come in, and she was in love with Spike, right, in like the early 2000s, like might have been year 2000. And then when the invasion, obviously because she was in WCW, she aligned with the invasion side and was with Hurricane. Somehow that come of thing that she was his sidekick, I think. Obviously, stuff happened in between, but, And then she become a heel. Pure and wholesome, by the way. Pure and wholesome. And Jerry Lawler, climaxes when she says that to him. Like, oh, shut up, Jerry Lawler.
Oh, yeah, I actually counted, every single time that a new female appeared on the screen, the word puppies was thrown out there. Every single one. Apart from Jazz.
But yeah, so... Obviously, Trish was going for the championship here against Jazz, and then Molly Holly came out, and everyone was like, what the hell's Molly doing here? She's not meant to be here. But she, of course, hates Trish Stratus, because I think every heel hated Trish Stratus in the women's division. That's just how it was. And she ended up beating up Trish, and then out come Jazz. And she also beat up Trish. Really? I mean, this match wasn't spectacle by any means, but it certainly wasn't bad. It was much better than the match previously.
Oh god,
it did its job. It made Jazz look pretty vicious, and Trisha's an underdog. Trisha's always kind of the well, not always, but at this stage she was the underdog. This was before she even had her her song that she has now. Like, she had that bow 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 now bow 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 now that song, and
the porno song.
her. Yeah, like it was kind of low-key like that, wasn't it? And, like, Lita was off doing other things. At this stage, Trish and Lita really hadn't done a whole lot together, so it was before all of that. Trish was their golden girl, really. That was just what it was. It was about getting the championship to Trish. I think that's pretty obvious at this stage. And it was like Jazz and Molly that were her adversaries. Yeah.
However, it wasn't to be Trish's night. Because Jazz applied, and this is out there, she applied an STF properly.
Yeah.
She did it properly. It wasn't fucking John Cena's version
Where he does the
of the
cross-arm
STF,
thing and
which doesn't make any sense.
It looks like
you might as well hold his hand.
Yeah. Or as long as he washes them.
As long as you wash them first,
Yeah,
of course. You gotta wash them
you don't
first.
want to touch anyone's hands.
And Trish, did she tap or did she pass out?
She tapped. She tapped because I remember the crowd being like, "Oh fuck, we wanted Trish to win." Because all jokes aside, Trish was really over. Like Trish
She really was,
loved.
yeah.
Like she was getting at this, like even at this stage when I think this was a bit of a transitional time for the women when they were like, you can wrestle a little bit, but also we want to see skin. That was basically what the women's division was. But there was a lot of good workers in the division, and they were slowly getting increments of like Jazz can go out there and wrestle. Trish was on the improving stage at this point. Like she was getting better. Molly and all the others, Ivory, Jackie, like they had a lot of good workers. So at this stage we're in a bit of a transition, but the girls were getting over, especially Trish and Lita. Obviously, Lita was always kind of over, but they wanted to see Trish win here. So it was, I mean, it's Wrestling 101. Stretch it out as long as you can.
I'll be interested to see where this goes
And,
on your show.
And they get hit in the head with championships, and Molly's just great. Oh, what a woman. Imagine
And
Molly
you're gonna
Holly
get that
and
every
Renee Young
single week.
on WWE Backstage every week. I would take the day off work every week for it. I'd be like, oh, here we go. Backstage, Molly Holly and Renee Young. Fucking dream team.
I actually thought you said Mae Young then. I was like, that'd be a bit fucking creepy.
Well, Mae Young's not alive. So...
Well, exactly. I thought it was going to be Katie Vick all over again, just with
boy.
Molly Holly.
Oh, boy. But yes, Jazz went over with a expertly applied STF, and it actually looked like it'll choke someone.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Jazz looks
good
pretty
wrestling.
brutal.
Yeah, and Jazz, what did she, I believe her saying was like, the bitch is back, or something like that. She would say that a lot. And I'm pretty scared of Jazz. Jazz, especially in this day and age, like this time period, Jazz would kick my ass.
I'm sure she'd still kick my ass now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know what she does these days, but I'm sure she would.
She was in the AEW thing a couple months ago, wasn't she? That Battle Royal. She was bald. She didn't have any hair.
Yeah.
That Battle Royal gimmick. You know, when they come
that's
out
true.
in increments of 5 for some reason. But yeah, Jazz won, and I liked it. And it's my favorite part of Raw, because it isn't Bradshaw. Bradshaw cannot get involved in this women's championship match. Well,
That'd be
I fucking
interesting.
hope not. I would cry. I would literally cry. What was next? Match 4.
Next up, we had something I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed this part of Backlash. It was Brock Lesnar in his debut match. Well, it is official match for WWE. His first one against Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
Accompanied by Lita.
Yes, because basically they had a promo package for this. They were pretty invested in this story. For anyone that doesn't remember or hasn't listened to the first few episodes of this show, Brock Lesnar killed Matt Hardy. That's pretty easy way to put it, because Paul Heyman sniffed Lita's underwear. I'm not actually kidding. At one point, he smelled Lita's underwear. Really, that actually happened. People that say storylines for women are still bad, they're a lot better than they used to be. The conflict of this was he sniffed Lita's underwear and then said he liked it rough.
Yeah, I've completely forgot that this was a thing. Like when I saw that promo package building up to this, I was like, this is really
Weird.
weird and strange. And like, you wouldn't be doing that now with this fucking
Oh,
coronavirus
oh.
kicking about, I'll tell you now.
Oh, God, no. And Matt, you don't want to shake someone's hand. You wouldn't want to sniff that. I mean, and not only that, it's fucking weird. This little potato fat man is in the women's locker room, by the way. No one's going to mention the fact that he's in the women's locker room, going through Lita's suitcase of gear and going through and finding his favorite Lita underwear and sniffing it for Lita to walk in, tell him to leave. Then he gets right up next to her, right in her ear, and says, "I like it rough." Huh? Then proceeds to bring out her suitcase on the stage on the last episode of Raw, and go through it all. So then Matt comes in to protect his girlfriend, and then Brock Lesnar destroys him. So then Jeff Hardy, by association's like, "I'll fight you because you destroyed my brother, and I like my brother's girlfriend. She's a nice girl," basically. That's the story going into this.
Essentially, that's the story, yeah.
I mean, it was still fine because, weirdly enough, it worked. I know that's weird to say. And not only that, the Hardys always were over, so Brock getting one over on the Hardys is a great way to introduce Brock. And
it was a great way to introduce Brock because he was brutal.
Oh,
like, I mean, you look at Brock now and how dominant he is, but then you see him, like, at this period. Jesus. Like, especially the way the match actually finishes. Like, Jeff gets a little bit of, like, offense in there. Kind of like what you get now. Like, you get Brock dominating for the whole match, and then you get that little brief spell where there's a little bit of hope for the babyface. And then it's just squashed. Literally squashed. And yeah, Brock hit those power bombs, which were not light. I'll put it that way. They were pretty heavy power. They were pretty heavy power bombs.
There was,
you could
there
hear
was
that
one
shit.
they showed in like slow mo, and you see Jeff's head bounce, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Ouch."
And then it was. I believe it was ref stoppage rather than a pin.
Yes, it was.
Of course, in Brock's favor, not Jeff's.
Oh,
Jeff would never get a stoppage.
Jeff
against
hit
Brock
multiple
Lesnar.
swanton bombs. And out goes Brock. No, it was after those power bombs, and I noticed something I have in my head that I wanted to make sure I pinpointed in this was that Brock used to do the F5 so differently. And it was more...
Yeah.
He does it now, and there's a little bit more of like a... I don't know how else to put this, but like a wee, just like throw them kind of deal. But
imagine Brock saying
wee. But then he held them all the way and like he pushed them to the ground. It was a lot more brutal. I mean, both ways are still fine, but it may be just the person he's doing it on to, because Jeff doesn't really give a fuck. Especially at that point, Jeff was all kinds of fucked. So, poof, he just destroyed him, and Lita just kind of stood there, and then Paul Heyman yelled at Lita and saying it was her fault. I feel so bad for Jeff. He's defending the honor of his brother's girlfriend. It's not even his girlfriend. He's like, "I'll do it for you, Matt." I'd just be like, if it was my brother's girlfriend, I love my brother's girlfriend. She's a great girl, but I'd be like, "You're on your own. Sorry." I'm sorry. I'm not fighting for you.
kind of feel obligated to do this.
It's like, just F5 me already, so this is done. I don't want to die like my brother. But yeah. This continues. I know that. I know that for a fact. From memory, this goes on further because they're not done. Obviously, Matt's away. But I guess we'll see on Raw when we come to you next Monday. But, oh boy. Brock, shitty theme music and all, Brock prevailed.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he had like that really generic.
Yeah, it was more generic than this stock music they used for the pay-per-view.
I can't even remember. Well, there you go. I can't even remember what the themes. It was like dun 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 dun.
It was just some stock music. They were like, "Hey,
oh my god."
But yeah, it happened and it was brutal, and it was one of the more interesting. I wouldn't say that it was certainly not the best match of the night, but it was certainly one of the more compelling. Like, I like to see where it goes, especially because we know where Brock is now. It's cool to see his rise.
Yeah, like, I mean, I always tend to forget Like as much as like this was my favorite period, like in wrestling, like. And Brock was a huge part of it because obviously I didn't get to watch Raw, which is of course why you do Raw. I watch SmackDown, which is of course why I do SmackDown. Brock Lesnar was a huge part of why SmackDown was successful, and there's so much stuff that he's done that I've completely forgotten about. So I'm looking forward to seeing like Brock's little rise from this match because he's obviously part of Raw at this point.
Yeah.
But when he comes over to SmackDown.
That's soon. If anyone, I don't know if you have Dits, have you watched the Ruthless Aggression documentary series on the WWE network?
Not yet.
There's 5 episodes.
But I've heard good things.
There's some of it's a little bit false. Like the first episode, slight spoiler, but whatever. They basically said Vince McMahon is a visionary because he went through on his own and changed the WWF to the WWE. Alright, so we're on to the next match. I believe it's Edge and Kurt Angle, which is... Well, it's SmackDown, so I'll let you take control.
Well, it will come as no surprise to anybody listening to this that, for me, this was match of the night. It was very, very good.
Yes.
And I've actually praised this on Twitter a number of times in the past. And Kurt Angle actually responded to the first ever time I did it, kind of backing up the point that it was a fucking good match. And I knew before we'd even went into this, when I saw this was on the card, I was like, it jolted in my memory because I always knew it was Backlash. I wasn't sure which one it was. And I was like, oh my God, like at least out of this entire show, I know I'm going to get one good, well, not even good, one great match. And it was like from bell to bell, so good. There were no... I actually put this in my notes, so I don't know if you remember, but I put there were no rest holds whatsoever in this match.
This was just go, go, go. And it wasn't like, it was long, but it wasn't like the longest match I've ever seen. It's not like they were having a 30-minute barn burner. Like, they got enough time, certainly, but it wasn't like it was consistently long. But yeah, there was nothing. There was no slow points in this match. It was pretty much go, go, go from the time the bell rang, really. It was a really good match. Very much today's kind of formula.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of mirrored. I'm referring back to my notes again, but I put Suplex City, bitch. Like the amount of suplexes in this match was insane.
There was
but it wasn't to the point where it was just like, oh God, another suplex. Like it was like, it's like the triple German suplexes. You had like belly to bellies. You had belly to belly off the top rope. You had like different variations of every suplex you can think of. Chances are it was in this damn match. Like it was good.
Yes, by the way, everyone, just quickly before we go on with this match, if for some reason you only hear my voice in some parts of this or for the rest of the show at any case, Dits may have to run away because he has sick kids at the moment.
Yeah, coronavirus has hit the Dits household.
So if for any reason in the next however much long we have left of the show, it might just turn into just Josh talking about Backlash, but it's fine. You've been here for like an hour. It's okay. Things are more important.
It wouldn't be that bad because the back end of the show is pretty bad, so you can take it.
God. But yes, this match was very good. Kurt Angle won this match after a number of Angle slams.
I think Edge kicked out one, and I think the second one he actually managed to get the free count.
There was a lot of back and forth. This was when the SmackDown 6 was forming.
Yes.
So it was very much at that time.
You're forgetting the classic Angle spot, which happened in this match. The chair shot.
Oh, yes.
Ricocheting off the ropes. Classic. It pops me every single time. And I knew it was coming as soon as he came in. I was like, here it comes. Dunk.
Angle's great. And this was when Edge was given a chance to be Edge.
Yeah, like you could kind of see. Yeah. I actually think like when you look at like movesets and like all that kind of stuff, Edge like had more to him at this. Obviously, Edge would become a better wrestler as time went on, but his moveset was actually quite.
Yeah. So then maybe he was certainly as crisp as he ever was. Maybe there because he was fighting. You know what I mean? He was fighting to get to the top. Once he was at the top, not saying Edge was never great, because Edge was always great. Edge still is great. But it's just... They just had a great match.
Yeah, like, it's I mean, you get wrestlers that have chemistry, but what
And
these
then
two
you have
have,
Kurt Angle.
and then you have Kurt Angle and Edge. Throw them together because this isn't over. Like we see more. What's the next paper? I think the next pay-per-view is Judgment Day,
Yes, I believe so.
and I believe this is going to be the hair versus hair match. So we've got another month build towards that of Angle and Edge, which I am more than happy to watch every single week.
SmackDown became the wrestling show, so you get stuff like that, which is really, really cool. When Raw is much more entertainment heavy. There's still great wrestling on Raw. Don't get me wrong. There's still great wrestlers and great wrestling, but SmackDown was wrestling heavy. Raw was entertainment heavy. That's just how it eventually became. Maybe not so much right now, but it eventually became that. Both still had elements of the other, of course, but that's what it kind. But Edge and Angle, just wonderful stuff.
I think it's the only thing I've put on here where I've put great match. I put that in capitals as well. Great,
great, match.
Very, very good.
And it's like,
in fact, I actually, excuse me, Corona. I actually say that it's match of the night, but it's not easily match of the night because you as a Raw brand almost.
Yeah. It's like if you're going to follow that.
And we'll go into that.
You either have to. Is it the next match? It is, isn't it?
It is the next match.
Yeah, if you're going to follow that, you either don't try or you really fucking try. And they really fucking tried. We had the IC title match. It was Rob Van Dam defending? Yes?
Correct.
Against Eddie Guerrero, which, I mean, on paper, it sounds as great as Edge and Angle. On paper, at least. And they tried. I mean, it was a damn fine match.
It was, I mean, I actually remember watching it and I go, like, I was expecting, like, a slow, obviously not, I would never expect, like, a slow match between Eddie and RVD, but, like, in terms of, like, match placement, I thought, we're going to get Austin Taker at this point, or the SmackDown tag titles. But no, they threw these two together straight afterwards, so back to back. Like nowadays, you wouldn't get that because I think the fans would just be exhausted. Yeah, exactly. You need that flow. But Backlash were like, no, screw this.
That
like
perfect show theory.
Throw it in. Yeah. We had back to back, like really, really good matches. Like I think these two matches, to be honest, saved Backlash for me. In fact, actually, when you look at, you got three matches. You got Brock Jeff, which was story more so than the match, and I loved Brock versus Jeff because of the story being told. And then you have that. Yeah, exactly. And then you have Edge Angle, which of course was great, and then Eddie and RVD, which honestly isn't that far behind Edge Angle.
It doesn't get like a lot of. You don't really think, oh, what's my great match to watch. You wouldn't really put on Eddie and RVD, but you probably could, and you probably should. Really, really good stuff. Obviously, a pretty simple battle. IC title, Battle of the Frog Splash. Who does better Frog Splash, in your opinion?
Ooh,
different, two very different Frog Splashes.
It's hard because RVD's got the theatrics of the 5 stars. So the way he gets up there, the height, the sell that he does when he lands. Whereas Eddie, I mean, when Eddie does it,
Eddie's more textbook. Eddie's more the technical way of doing a frog splash. He has the hands hooked, which I appreciate. It's kind of the thrust of it. That's a weird word to use. But then RVD's it's the 5-star. He gets higher. It looks visually more cool, I guess. Maybe. To a casual person, it probably looks cooler. But to the actual, like, how you should do it, Eddie does it better, in my opinion.
Yeah, thinking about it, I'd say Eddie's got it. And Eddie can get distance on it. He got it. He hit a very long distance frog splash in this match. And I think it hit him in the face.
The finish was definitely frog splash right to RVD's nose. But damn fine, good match. There's not really too many, like, spots I can tell you that are great in this match. Just the flow of this match really worked. And Eddie won. I like a good title
cheat to win. Shock.
I like cheat and steal. The only way. If you're not cheating, you ain't trying. That's kind of true. But I really did enjoy this match, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because certainly there's a little bit more from them. with RVD and Eddie, I'm sure, from memory. So I'm excited, and RVD is one of those characters that is better in a chase than having a championship.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really matter what RVD does. Like, I've always been a massive fan of RVD, and and again, it's like we're gonna say this so much over the course of this series. Like, you forget how good these guys are. Like, I mean, Eddie is always like renowned for being a fantastic wrestler, and that's just purely because he is.
Yeah.
But with RVD, you had so many things that overshadowed all of that kind of stuff.
I agree.
But then when you go back and watch his stuff, it's like he's very, very good, very good. And you get to enjoy him over on Raw, whereas I get to steal Eddie at some point.
Eventually, yeah. So
I can't remember when he comes to SmackDown.
There's another like low key shake up kind of deal that happens after SummerSlam. I know that because of the Ruthless Aggression series. So that's when we get like a bit of a switch, because I know that Christian come over and Jericho and stuff like that. So I know that I get those people. Because you have Jericho at this point, because Jericho cuts a promo here, doesn't he? Is it here or is it?
Yeah. It's the generic one that he's been cutting on SmackDown for the last couple of weeks, saying that, he should be why is Hogan getting all these opportunities, for the title? It was only like last month where he was main event in WrestleMania, kind of like, I'm better than everybody, so why do I not have a match at Backlash?
That was pretty much
and of course,
really.
that was the gist, and it's not the last we see of Jericho on this show either.
No. I mean, it is pretty crazy that Jericho was main eventing WrestleMania and then not in a match or in some kind of a story heading into Backlash. It is pretty crazy. But Jericho's jacket and his pants, he should be booked for that alone. My God, he used to dress. Well, he still does dress pretty fucking weird. But has Jericho ever not been great? Especially at talking. I mean, wrestling, yes, but like especially at talking, he's just very good at promos. No news, no shocking fucking news there. But
I mean, like I said, like he's cut this promo for the last like 3 weeks, but like I don't mind hearing it time and time again. Like there's been a variation. Like the key word throughout the whole thing has been has been. Like everyone thinks he's a has been. Blah 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 blah. Like, but it doesn't matter how he spins it. Like, I'm invested in anything that Jericho says, whether it be a promo in the ring, whether it be a promo backstage, doesn't matter. And an interaction with a wrestler, doesn't matter. It's always good. And it's like that with, a few guys in this era, but I think Jericho he's up there.
Certainly up
at least top 3.
Yeah. But moving on, we did have this match that on paper, you look at The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin and you go, fucking yes, sign me the hell up. But this match was slow.
Yeah, this is the point where you wouldn't say Backlash now takes a dip in form, but it really does.
Ric Flair was the referee, by the way, and there was lots of NWO stuff. This match, I'm looking at the times on Wikipedia. This match was the longest at the night, clocking at 27 minutes and 3 seconds.
Fuck off! Was it that long?
27 minutes and 3 seconds. That is the longest match by 5 minutes on this show. And it was long, and it was slow, and there was so much happening. I don't even want to get into logistics of this. Undertaker won. It was for the number 1 contendership to the Undisputed Championship. Taker won because of stuff that happened, but take us through the finish.
I mean, the finish was annoying, to be honest. I mean, Flair, I told you this before we even started recording for the show. Like Flair throughout this match, like really, the way he was counting pins annoyed me, and the fact that it was just constant. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you got that feeling. Just the way he was getting down and counting.
This whole match just shit me off. I watched it on my own. I said this to you before, but I said it out loud while in my bedroom with nobody around. I literally said, end this fucking match out loud. I couldn't even keep it in my brain. I had to just say it to get it out there. But 26 minutes later, and it did. But
I can't believe you said it's 27 minutes
and 3 seconds.
I knew it was long, but not that long. That is ridiculous. ridiculous.
It's just Austin was in a weird spot at this point. Taker was fine. It's nothing that they necessarily like did wrestling wise that was bad. It was just way too long. It was way too overbooked. There was too much happening, too much with Flair, and I just wanted to get past it. But Taker did win, so he's the number one contender to the Undisputed Championship.
Yeah, and when it came to the finish, it was a dodgy finish.
Oh yeah.
Shockingly, after I mean, you made it through 27 minutes and it wasn't a decisive finish. Stone Cold had his leg on the rope, and Ric Flair, as a parting gift to me, I don't know if you caught it, but I even saw it on the replay when he went backstage and Jonathan Coachman showed him and said, "Look, you do realize Austin's foot was on the rope," and he was like, "What?" Like, Ric Flair turns, sees Austin's foot on the fucking rope, and then counts regardless. Now, I don't know if that is on purpose because part of storyline or whatever, but I think it was literally Ric Flair having a look and going, right, now his foot's on the rope, now I can make the count as part of that's what is in the script, that's what I need to do.
I don't know, but
I was like, what are you doing?
It's so weird that this is Raw's main storyline, and I'm liking pretty much everything that isn't Bradshaw on the show, except I'm not really feeling this. Their promo work leading up to this was actually really good. Just this match, the length was everything in this one. It was just too long.
Yeah, and NWO came out as well, and was just they literally just stood on the ramp and didn't do anything. Didn't interfere in the match. They didn't come in after the match. Like, it was kind of like, why?
Yeah, why?
I know they're in like a little mini thing with Austin, but it's why?
Mm-hmm.
Just to get the NWO on the show, like again, it was just bad.
Taker
I really didn't enjoy the match.
That was that. It was way too long. Next was, I mean, for your sake, you like it. Tag Team Championship match. SmackDown finally gets a match.
I know. So this the tag team titles match is Billy and Chuck against Al Snow with Rico. I mean, before we go anywhere, Josh, you know what you need to do right now.
Excuse me, coronavirus, move along. Let me, me. You look so good to me. Ooh, ooh. Thank you.
You've got better at that.
Thank you. I honestly have not tried it once. Must be just the world we're in. My talent's coming out.
It's too late.
I know, the voice is going to be canned. There's too many people in the arena. I can't go on anymore. Josh sings, coming to YouTube.
Please make that happen.
Oh, please, let's not.
So we have Billy and Chuck versus Al Snow and Maven. Obviously, they're tough enough pairing. And I honestly don't remember a single thing from this match, apart from I'll just read my notes because it's exactly what it is. I put it's a nothing match, something you'd see on SmackDown, which we already have seen on SmackDown numerous times at this point. Like, I feel like every Billy and Chuck match that I've seen so far doing this series is exactly the same. All that's changed is the opponents. Mm-hmm. Like, you have the little match, Rico gets involved, and that feeds into the finish every single time. And then I put Al Snow was acting like me playing squash when he was chasing everybody, and it was like when I play squash, like I'm okay at it. I know how to hit the ball, all that good stuff, but I go fucking nuts on that court. I will chase every single ball, regardless of whether I have any hope in hell of getting it. I run around that thing like a madman, and I suppose it's good because I get my workout in. But when I was watching Al Snow, I was like, this is me. This is me on a squash court. And he was literally running around chasing Rico. He was chasing Billy. He was chasing Chuck. Like, whatever was going on, he was chasing fucking something. I was like, this is me playing squash.
It was odd.
It was weird, yeah. And then
I remember the finish, obviously, because Billy and Chuck retained their championships.
Was it a low blow?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, now I can't remember. I just remember the 3 count.
I know they cheated. Of course they cheated.
Well, of course they did.
But I can't
They
remember how
won.
they cheated. But regardless, yes, they retained their titles. And I believe, to be fair, I always remember, like, when I actually look back, like, when I was a kid and all that kind of blah, 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 and kind of revisiting it in my mind, I always remember Billy and Chuck just being the constant tag team
They were
champions.
always, yeah, I remember that too.
So I have a feeling I've got this for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we have Josh singing that theme for a very, very long time.
Hell
which
yeah.
isn't a bad thing.
No. You can hear my sweet, luscious voice every single Monday here on the Josh Robinson 00 Network. Look at that plug! Boom, mic drop into this fucking 22-minute and 4-second main event.
So this is the second longest match on the card, and it felt just as long, if not longer, than the Austin Taker match, because I'd count this as a SmackDown match because Hulk.
Yeah, it's SmackDown.
Triple H was kind of
Triple H
SmackDown.
He was on both because he was the Universal. Fuck me, I'm in 2020 mode. He was the what is it called? Undisputed. There we go.
Undisputed, yeah.
It literally says it in front of me on this screen. Undisputed champion.
The start of this match like set the tone. So they were doing like a test of strength. Yeah. And their bodies were twerking all over the place. And I was like, here we go. Because I don't remember. Obviously, I've seen this match probably about 3 or 4 times in my life. But those 3 or 4 times were a very, very long time ago.
Yeah,
so revisiting this, I knew it was going to be slow.
But, well, now twice. But I don't remember. I couldn't tell you a single spot of this match. I honestly wasn't even sure of who won. Like, I knew that he eventually had it. But I was like, is it here?
Well, that test of strength itself puts the match into perspective, but they had a figure 4 spot, which went on for at least 3 of those 22 minutes, I think you said.
It felt like 20 of them. Because they were it looked like they were having a nap.
We said earlier that there were no rest holds in the 2 good matches that we had. There was a lot of fucking rest holds. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Hogan was like 84 years old at this point.
Based on that, here is a fact for you, I had to look into. The match was that shit that I actually went onto Wikipedia to look into something. Like JR, as we were going through this, was talking about Triple H being like the young buck and Hogan being the old lion, and that kind of battle mentality going on. And he said, well, Hogan's in his late 40s. And I was like, fuck off, is he in his late 40s? He's at least 60. So I had a look and I did the maths. Hulk Hogan was 48 in this match.
Oh boy.
Guess how, to put that into perspective, just by looking at Hogan, right now, this very second, Chris Jericho is 49, 1 year older than Hogan was in this match. It doesn't fucking look like that, though, does it?
Holy shit.
Yeah. I was like, no fucking way. I always believed that when Hogan was doing this part of his run, he was at least mid to late 50s.
That's what I thought too. He was just this old man that had come back from a different era that I hadn't watched. And I knew he was like important, but he was like an old grandpa.
1 year younger than what Jericho is now. Insane.
Holy
And he looks at least 20 years older than what Jericho does now.
Is it weird that Hogan almost looks younger now than he did then?
I'm going to probably put that down to like surgery and stuff.
And being
he did get a lot of money over that whole racism controversy thing. So maybe use that.
Well,
to discover the fountain of youth.
I wish he would discover the fountain of fuck off because he's annoying.
That's a soundbite.
Honestly, that could relate to here. That could relate to there. You use that how you want to, everybody. It kind of can go with anything. If you didn't like him in 2002, I'm pretty certain you won't like him now. I can pretty much guarantee that because not only was he annoying in wrestling, he's now very much annoying in life with some things.
Yeah.
And, but not to dwell on the fact, to really, really nail it in, he won.
Yeah, after 2... I watched this probably maybe 2 hours before we started talking. Just the end of it, I was like, oh shit, I've got 10 minutes of that match left to go. Still not knowing what I knew. Hulk would win the match, but I didn't know how it would get there. So obviously we had rest holds aplenty up until this point. Then Chris Jericho returned
from his promo, pants and all.
And I believe he clocked Hogan with the chair. And then went to went to try and revive the referee who was knocked down. Funnily enough, this is 2002. That happens all the time.
Yes.
And Triple H was like, it ain't happening that way. And then kind of beat Chris Jericho up a little bit, threw him out the ring. Then the Undertaker comes down and then tries to do it the other way and tries to get Hogan on top of Triple H. So he gets the win. Hogan's like, no, I'm not having that. And then Hogan starts beating up Undertaker with his fucking stupid, what you gonna do, bro? And all that shit.
The worst.
And then throws Taker out the ring, then hits a terrible leg drop for the free count. I mean,
that was the finish of the main event of the pay-per-view.
A leg drop.
A leg drop. 1, 2, 3. New undisputed champion. The uber young and uber not looking like 60 years old Hulk Hogan beat Triple H of all people, who in 2002 did not lose. Let's be honest, Triple H did not lose, unless it was Hulk Hogan, apparently. And now we get Hogan as champion. Awesome. You know what I mean?
I think it's brief. I think it's brief. If I remember rightly, it's brief. If I
remember right, I mean, we'll find out. We've got next week. We get to watch Raw and Smackdown like we normally would, as we build towards Judgment Day.
I don't know why I'm like celebrating on camera. Nobody can see that, but yes, I'm excited.
I can see it, and that's all that really matters. But now, yes, Hulk Hogan on top of the world. Overall, the show wasn't like bad, but those long matches were long. During the Raw and Smackdowns, we give ratings. We give those segments ratings out of 10. So it's fitting. What would you give Backlash out of 10? I don't know. Just purely on those two back-to-back really good matches and Molly Holly, I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I was going to go with 7.
It was above average, but it certainly didn't blow anything out of the water.
Yeah, so I mean, we had we actually had a good run of form.
The first match was really good. Jazz and Trish was fine. Lesnar and Hardy was good. Angle, Edge, Eddie and RVD was just those two matches were just fantastic, and then the rest.
So there were 4 duds and 5 good matches.
Yeah.
So I think a 7 out of 10 is fair.
Yeah, it was above average, but nothing too crazy. If you just shorten the length of that Taker Stone Cold match, it probably would have been a lot better. And if Hogan and Triple H just wasn't so long,
or didn't exist,
better. But we'll see what happens. We're excited to get the show rolling again. Rolling with all the punches, obviously, because even with sick kids, Dits is like, no, we're finishing this show.
Hey, I made it to the end.
Yeah, you made it to the end. We're not quite at the end. We still got to get plugs in. But that was the first episode back. Welcome back to the network. We're very different podcasters now. And we're a little bit more comfortable doing this show now because we know we've got a set time every week where we can actually do this. So, and if we're in self-isolation, Dits, for 2 weeks anytime soon, we can record fucking every day.
we can record. We'll be at WrestleMania by the end of this fucking coronavirus.
And it's on the it's
and not WrestleMania 19. We'll be at WrestleMania 21.
We'll be at WrestleMania this year. That's gonna happen. Yeah, that was Backlash 2002. It was fine. I'm excited to get onto Raw, see more Molly Holly, and less Bradshaw.
I mean, the Raws and Smackdowns are like the nitty-gritty part of Dits versus Josh.
These are bonuses. Technically, if we wanted to, we could probably skip these, but we want to... This is an episodic kind of deal, so we want to try and go week to week and give you as much as we can. This is the only show on this network where I don't have everything in my brain like scheduled out in the terms of like what we can and can't do. Because really, if we wanted to, we could do some bonus little things here where we review a show or we watch along a show of something in that year, or we could do other things with this show. If you want to see something from us, feel free to talk to us on Twitter, because we'll happily take any suggestions on what you think we could do better, or what you think you would like to see. If you want to go us, and we could do classic stuff if you really wanted to, or just stuff that relates to this, because I mean, it's that era, so it kind of, there's no real boundaries on this show, which is what I want.
There's years of content to mine.
Mm-hmm. Technically,
like
we could
really
do
is.
this up until there is no brand extension.
I'll be in my mid-30s when this finishes. Like if we did this from start to finish without stopping, just did every single week, I would be in my mid-30s when we finish this, which is fucking mental.
I'd be in my 30s, which is disgusting. But we would look like we're in our 60s because we'd be as tired as Hulk.
Yes.
But then 20 years later, when we go back and, we sit down and we do like a documentary series of the rise and fall of Dits versus Josh, we'll look a lot better because we'll be rich and we'll be immune from the coronavirus, but we won't be racist piece of shits.
No.
Well,
and that'll help us, I'm sure.
I would certainly hope we're not, because fuck that. But yes, that was this show. I'm glad to be back in the zone of things, and I'm excited to hear what Tajiri and Tori Wilson do. I'm not gonna lie, it's exciting. I'm excited.
Well,
to
they're gonna have
for SmackDown, and
yes, they're gonna have some kind of spotlight because obviously Tajiri is the new cruiserweight champion, so they are guaranteed to be on SmackDown next week.
Hey, Tori Wilson is a Hall of Famer. Tajiri and Billy Kidman are not.
Let that one sink in.
No disrespect to Tori Wilson. She had some great moments. Sure. I never disliked Tori Wilson.
No, I've always liked Tori. Like she seems like a good
great
person.
Wrestler, but she never really claimed to be.
No, like I mean, you had
she
the
wasn't
ones
there for that. She was there to look as beautiful as she was, or is really. She looks just as good now as she did then. It's weird.
Fair play to her.
Yeah, and she's in her 40s now, I believe.
Late 40s, I think.
She looks pretty good from what we've seen with recent years in her wrestling stuff that she's done. But yeah, she wasn't there for that. She was there to be in a kimono and with Tajiri, or fighting Dawn Marie over her dad.
Can't wait.
Oh, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for everything. But Dits, you do have other stuff going on. Plug what you need to plug, and where can we find you and all that good shit.
You can find me, Josh, and everybody is listening, over on Twitter at Dits on Wrestling. I've gone for a little bit of a jiggle this past week on Twitter. So literally everything was spread. I have about fucking 6 accounts on Twitter just spread over just different things that I do. I've decided to just do the logical thing and just centralize it all. But the handle will always remain the same because I think that is what everybody knows me by. So it is at Dits on Wrestling. It will continue to be at Dits on Wrestling. But when you get to that page and you follow it, it's going to be wrestling, gaming, and everything in between. And on top of that, I also have my own podcast. Of course I do. The Dits on Wrestling podcast, the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod. Probably, maybe, who knows? And that goes out every week, every Sunday. So you get back-to-back Dits.
Yeah,
you get Dits on a Sunday, and then you get Dits on a Monday. But you get the added bonus of having this idiot with me.
And you get lots of me because I do 14 shows, I think, at this point. But you get Dits versus Josh every single Monday here on the network, and yeah, I'm doing everything else. You know my thing. You know where to get me. Josh Robinson 00 is pretty much across the board on everything. I kept everything one like you, Dits. I wanted it all on one. I was thinking about doing another one for the network handle-wise, and I was like, no, this is just where you get me. You just have to put up with my nonsense tweets along with my network tweets because...
And your Giddy the cat tweets.
Oh, Giddy is everything.
I like those, to be fair.
That's
the
only
content
thing I
I
like
like
more than wrestling is my cat, because she is a piece of trash. She's sitting over there watching me from afar and judging me. She's probably wishing some kind of awfulness on me. Probably the coronavirus, to be completely fair. But I hope he gets it and then I get to eat him or something. She can't stand me. I love her. But she does catch her toys, and she should be a superstar, so get ready for all the cat tweets along with my network tweets. But no network content tomorrow here on the network. You get it on Wednesday with the Josh Robinson Show. And this week, you get a very special guest with me, everybody, for the Josh Robinson Show. It will be the one and only Queen. And we're celebrating Women's History Month. So get ready for that on the Josh Robinson Show. Along with everything else, I hope you are enjoying the network and continue to follow me wherever you do. And I guess until next Monday, is there anything else you want to leave us on, Dits?
Well, we did forget another plug. We plugged both of us, but we need to plug, the shows at Dits versus Josh.
Oh, yes.
So, yes, this show has its own Twitter page, which I run, so it would be very biased towards me, of course.
He exposed me on my own show feed.
It's what I do. I got to take advantage. Like, you are this fucking guy who has his own network and stuff. That I get the Twitter page.
Yeah, I was
that's what I get.
You can do the Twitter page, and I'll do the rest of the shit. But now I'm like, oh, should I just do? Don't worry, I got it all, Dits. I got it all. But he's got it all. So yeah, we'll be a little bit biased towards Dits. Don't worry.
I will.
Well, everyone is biased towards Dits. They always fucking vote for him when he wins.
3-0. That's all I'm saying. 3-0.
We'll be back to voting next week, and because we actually record this on a Monday morning, my time, we can see all the results. So it's good. So yeah, do all that nonsense. Follow us all where you follow us, and until next Monday, peace out.